let's do it. Welcome to Living, Breathing, Having a Good Time. I'm your host, Sierra, and today we have Laura. Laura, very nice to see you again. So Laura Thayer is a very talented individual. She is a multifaceted content creator and musical innovator dedicated to harnessing the transformative power of sound. That's a long sentence.
Absolutely.
It's really interesting because I haven't seen you in such a long time. And so this is a new thing for you, correct? So tell us a little bit about that, how you actually found that, got into that, because it sounds really interesting.
Well, it's a culmination of my life, as I was just expressing to you. Early on in my life, I knew I wanted to help people. And I didn't know what that looked like. And I never really had like the vision of myself of like, I want to be this or I want to be that, you know, where my counterparts would be, I want to be this and I want to be a mom. And I didn't have any of those machinations. So I just kind of, as one person put it to me, I ballerinaed my way through life. I would find something that was interesting to me and I would put it in my wheelhouse, and I would find something else that was interesting to me. But I always along the way strive to help people. And it started off in nursing, and then I was in the military, and then I was a mom, and then I became a hairdresser and a massage therapist. And through all of that, though, I've always been drawn to music. My mom said I sang before I spoke. She said I would be sitting in the back of the car making up melodies before words even came out of my mouth.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so I also sang, you know, my whole life I've been singing. And I lost a spouse, my mom and my dad in a very short period of time, about 5 years ago. And so my whole life changed on a dime. I was getting ready to retire from hairdressing anyway, but it all just kind of culminated right when COVID hit, ironically.
Yeah.
And so I was deciding if I wanted to go back to hair. It was very fulfilling because I got to be in a therapeutic type role with people.
Sure.
And, you know, you get to make people feel better.
Yeah, you do.
But it was hard on my body. And I think it was time to not go back. I just couldn't get myself to go back through the salon doors.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I had discovered crystal singing bowls. And that was kind of my therapy for myself through my grieving process. And I thought that was my thing. I'm like, oh, I love this and it can heal people. But I learned more and more about frequencies, and I delved more into what we really are as entities of a culmination of energies, which is frequency.
So let me ask you, because a lot of our listeners, there's a lot of people that do know about sound bowls, but there's a lot of people too that hear this stuff and they're like, no, how is this healing? So explain like why sound bowls are very important, why frequency is important, because I've actually spoke about this with cancer. And with energy and with how it can break up tumors and do, you know, just totally change you at your cellular level. So what is sound bowls?
Sound bowls are literally crystal. It's a quartz crystal that has been crushed and then formed into a bowl. And they tune each bowl to a specific note and or frequency. So you can, I have bowls that are tuned to 440 hertz, and then I have bowls that are tuned to 432 hertz. Now, if you go back to, I think it was in the early 1900s, I don't know the scientist's name, but he discovered something called cymatics. And what he did was he put sand on a plate and a speaker underneath the plate, and he would play certain frequencies. And these frequencies would create geometric designs on that plate where the sand would vibrate. So we call that sacred geometry now. It's been called that for a long time, but they were able to correlate the two. And so you take that information and then you overlay it into everything is energy, right? And so then also if you take Dr. Emoto's work, which he worked with water, and he did the intention into water, right? You speak to water, you tell it, I love you, thank you. They froze the water, looked at the the crystals under a microscope, and they were beautiful crystalline structures. Well, to the antithesis, the water that was berated or neglected had irregular and very unattractive crystalline structures. So if you take this, not anecdotal, but it is visual information, and you overlay it into other things that we've not been able to measure in the past, like sound waves, but now we can, we're in the technology age, and you can see where entrainment has benefit. Again, because we all are energy. So if you can entrain the cells to be in a homeostatic state, they know what to do.
Way of putting it.
They don't. You don't have to inject new information. They know how to fix themselves.
Yeah.
If you give them the right environment.
So this inspired you to kind of take up what you're doing now. So explain what exactly it is now with the music development that you're doing.
Well, what I learned is I've been listening to binaural beats for years.
Okay.
When I was going to massage therapy school, I was working full-time mom, but I needed to study. So I came across binaural beats, which binaural beats creates a tone in one ear and a tone in another ear. And the two audio interfaces in your brain creates a third tone. So that creates your brain becoming in sync. So it allows for more information to pass between the two hemispheres. So I've been using binaural beats for years. And then I learned about 432 hertz through the bowls and all the energetic studies that I've also learned through the ages. And I also found that subliminal information is integral as well. I did a deep dive with quite a few people. There was one scientist and psychiatrist who was working with bipolar and schizophrenic people. And he was able to create a hypnotic subliminal course for them to integrate their personalities. So I took these three different but similar aspects and combined them into one because nobody out there is doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, all three of these things work. You have people doing 432 hertz with subliminal. You have people doing 4 hertz with subliminal, but you don't have anybody doing the combination.
So what is it that you want to do with this? I mean, exactly how would you like to help people? Is there a specific pathway for the eventual app that you want to reach people?
Well, there is, and one thing that I've learned in life is that as much as you want to help people, they have to be seeking it. So I can have all the answers, but unless they're seeking, it's not going to. So I'm just trying to provide the platform for people that are seeking for whatever it is they are trying to fix. Like for instance, right now I've done a couple of sample pieces. I've done one for a CEO who is financially secure, but always has in the back of their mind that they're going to lose their wealth. So I created a subliminal messaging of peace and calmness and serenity, that this is mine, it's to stay mine, and thus and such. And then he also feels like there's never enough time. So I was able to rewrite the scripting in his mind that the more I relax, the more time I have.
Right.
So it kind of overlays that anxiety.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, isn't it, how people really hang on to materialistic things when it really has nothing to do with that. It's a lot of times, and I've talked about this too on the show, people try and replace things in their life with things. With stuff. So, when she's talking about that, one thing that came into my mind is this guy's afraid of losing materialistic things, but what is he actually really in fear of, So the layers of this is very, very interesting, and you've had a very interesting life, as we were discussing a little bit ago, because this woman is like 40 careers in already. I mean, it's crazy. So, what would you say to people that are trying to figure out their life? is it just like you just keep going, keep peeling the layers of the onion away and finding a deeper you? What is it that has inspired you to do all these different things?
Well, my motivator was I wanted to help people, right? I always knew that. And I think we all deep down have that.
Yeah.
I just think we are so culturalized that we don't realize we all basically want the same thing. You know, some people are taught it's about money. Some people are taught it's about family. Some people are taught about this farming and politics. Yes. But what I did learn for myself is that passion is what we're all looking for, because that's what gets you up in the morning. And it's hard to have that passion when you have all of these conditions put on you culturally. So if you can segment in your mind what part of you is ego and culture and what part of you is passion and expansion, if you can just start playing with those concepts and tease out what's really important to you. And what I learned, and I don't remember who said it, but it was recently, it's been the last couple of years, they said, how do you figure out your passion? Now, music has always been a passion, but you know, you've heard of starving artists, right? So it's a cultural thing, it's a programming, it's an ego thing.
Yes.
And they said, if you want to find your passion, go back to the thing that made you the happiest when you were a child.
Interesting. Very good advice.
Because you don't have all that pressure, all that preconceived programming put upon you just yet.
That's true. That's very true. And a lot of times people, they're having a struggle in today's society figuring that out because, like you said, everyone's coming at them from different directions and pulling people's minds, hearts in different directions. So it really has taken a toll, I see, overall on a lot of people to really kind of slow down. And would you say that with doing what you're doing now is like telling yourself that you don't have to be everywhere all the time? You can actually be more productive if you slow down.
Oh yeah, 1,000%, 1,000%. I think overall with what I'm trying to put out there is, you know, we all have our own bumps in the road and they manifest in different ways, you know, sleep anxiety, financial anxiety, you know, world anxiety. What this allows, I feel, for people to do, and it really does require some commitment on your part, because you're reprogramming your programming. Your programming is your CPU. And you can say things in the mirror a million times a day, but belief is a thought that you just keep thinking. So even if you say it to yourself, one of my taglines is, you can't lie to yourself.
No.
You
can try.
You can try.
But the truth always comes out.
Yeah, the truth always comes out. And you just feel it, right?
Yeah.
So what this does is this gets into the subconscious mind, and it allows your current belief systems to be shushed. So it quiets that down. The theta and delta state, brainwave state, allows for suggestive reprogramming. And so over time, 21 days really, if you listen to this 15 minutes before you get out of bed in the morning and 15 minutes before you get out of bed in the morning, or at night, vice versa, this will gently reprogram your mind. And so what that does for you is it now has your person vibrating at a different frequency.
Well, see, that's another thing I was going to dive into. People only do what's convenient for them, right? So we see that all the time. We see people eating fast food when they know they shouldn't. We see, instead of sitting down with their family, having a family dinner. We see people doing bad habits because it's simple or it's easier. So tell the audience a couple of simple, easy ways to get into healthier habits. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a total confusion with being healthy is hard. It really isn't hard. right? It's a mindset. So give us some examples of what people can do that are either sick, struggling in life because they're their own enemy, or they're setting themselves back a lot because, like you just said, they're putting the negativity into everything instead of the positive. So what can the audience do to be healthier?
Well, first you have to realize that as a physical entity, we are energy again. And the whole purpose of us having an ego is to protect this physical body. So we are hardwired literally to conserve energy. So when something is easy but not necessarily long-term beneficial, it's going to win out because it's easy, and that's big picture, you're conserving energy in the short term. Because we don't know that tomorrow is coming for sure, or the day after, the day after. So the ego keeps us in the now as far as survival mode.
Yeah, see, I think the explanation of all this stuff is really super important because the breakdown of it, because you've studied a lot, you know, I mean, the audience can tell you probably read all the time, you listen to stuff all the time, right? So, you know, coming from a person that's done so much and, you know, is very talented like yourself, for people that are, again, struggling with, you know, man, I'd love to be her, it really isn't that hard. And so, like, give us some ideas of things that people can do, like starting right from the very get-go when they get out of bed.
So you want to do it before you get out of bed. Like if you have to, when you wake up in the morning and you have to go to the restroom, fine, go to the restroom, but come back and lay down. Even if you have a hurried day ahead of you, you can carve out 10 minutes. You can carve out 10 minutes. So get up, go to the restroom, come back down, lay in bed, because your brain is already in that relaxed state, that semi-suggestive state. And if you're not listening to something that will help encourage you through the day, which I would suggest my subliminal or affirmations with relaxing music to help your brain calm back down and get back into that state. And you may drift back off, so set an alarm. And it's okay if you do, because your brain's still working. It's that simple. Just take that 10 minutes. I mean, I would recommend 15, but if you can only do 10, if you can only do 5.
I mean, that can reset your blood pressure, that can reset your whole entire day. In fact, I did that today. So, you know, because you know I'm extremely busy, and I am one of these people that when I jump out of bed, I go, and I don't stop. But I did tell myself today, I'm like, you know, I really have to slow it down for a minute. You know, usually I'm here like almost an hour. I was messaging the studio manager, and, you know, I'm always anxious about things. So anxiety too, right? Anxiety can be cured with this.
Yes.
And anxiety is really a farce too, because what are we really anxious over? Things are going to happen the way that they're going to happen, right? So as people go about their day, when they come in contact with rude people or little bumps in the road, what's some other things people can do too, just to kind of go, no, you're not going to make my day bad?
Well, just that. You have to make a conscious decision that's not me. I have a girlfriend, and her and I aren't the first ones to say that, but, you know, not my monkey, not my circus. You know, and don't take on that energy. You can, and to go even a step further, you can go, that's their journey. That's what they're choosing to experience right now. That's not me.
Right.
And just don't associate with it. Don't meld your energy with theirs, and just know that sometimes you're going to run into things that aren't pleasant, and that's okay.
I was talking to an oral surgeon who has been one of my recent new patients, and literally he's really good friends with this guy at USF, right, that does statistics on happy people. And he said, you know what the statistic of people walking into a dental office and being happy is? 2%.
Zero.
2%.
That's more than I would have said.
2%. And so I'm really happy to have you on first thing this morning, because the happy should really not be the question, right? Why are people choosing the opposite? So when you develop your app, besides the music and the cultivation with the frequencies, are you going to put anything else on there for people to access, to maybe think about, reorganizing, prioritizing their day? Wouldn't you say too that diet is a big one? I mean,
I do, absolutely. I mean, everything has energy again. So dead food, dead body, live food, live body. The more you can eat that has more life in it, the more life you're putting into your body.
That's a great suggestion. So frequency too with exercise is interesting, because I was reading recently on comparative notes of people that do not listen to music when they work out, compared to people that do listen to music, and not just music in a room, but music on their head, like AirPods, and how that actually changes their circulatory system, their energetic level to push through a workout. Why would that be?
Well, there's two sides to that, because one, again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but it's all about energy, right? It's your intention. So if you're putting the headphones on, this can go either way. If you're putting the headphones on to distract yourself from the pain and just getting your heart rate up and moving your muscles, that has a benefit. But also, if you think about, if you're going in for heart health, that would probably be something I would do just to get, because that's what I'm working towards, getting that or BPM up, I'm running, I'm getting my heart up. But if you're going in for muscle building and muscle strength, I would take away the sound. Unless you have something subliminal going on that's reinforcing you to work on that specific muscle group. Because your muscles have energy, memory, they have their own existence.
So that's what you mean by subliminal, because it's funny, because you had mentioned there's one now, there's subliminal, and there's one now, there's like two
affirmations.
Affirmation, okay, so people are like, okay, so affirmations are manifestations.
It can be whatever you want. An affirmation is, it can be laid in a subliminal layer as well.
Okay.
So in the music that I create, I will sometimes have a sing-songy type affirmational phrases, and then I will have distinct words that, I can make them audible, I can make them barely audible, I can make them completely inaudible. It's a preference thing for the listener. But the result is similar, it's just a different modality to get it in there.
Interesting. And what was the third one? So subliminal, that, and what now?
They're really just the two, the affirmations and the subliminal.
Because you said about the frequencies, how some people are putting certain hertz with this and certain hertz with that, but they're not doing exactly what you aspire to do.
Yeah.
And how did you just wake up one day and go, no one's doing this?
I did.
I mean, is that what you did?
I did. I would call them downloads, and it's like, nobody's doing this. Well, what really happened is that probably about a year and a half ago, I was playing the bowls, and I've had really amazing experiences with listeners while I'm playing the bowls. I've had some people have past life regressions. I've had some people have spontaneous healings. And I just thought that was fascinating. I have my own experience, and then I started toning with the bowls because I like to vocalize, and I just it's no words, or wasn't any words. And about a year and a half ago, I started playing the bowls, and I started toning like that. And then all of a sudden, this language that is not English spontaneously started coming out of my mouth, and I blew up in chills, and I had this feeling of ecstasy, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. This was really foreign to me. And I continued with it until it subsided because it felt so amazing. And So I looked it up, and apparently there's this thing called light language.
Light language.
And so I had delved in, and it was just too weird to tell anybody. I'm like, am I speaking in tongues? Is this what is happening?
I'm all about the weirdness.
Yeah.
That's my show. I mean, we talk about things that nobody else really dives into and talks about, because a lot of times, like you said, who are you going to go tell? Are you going to leave and go tell a neighbor, like, hey, by the
Guess
way,
what?
spoke and light language.
Yeah. They're like,
And they're
okay.
going to look at you and go, did you forget your meds today? You know, but I mean, your shirt says it, love, right? So you're really relating back to your heart, your heart chakra, your heart center. And I love that about you, because the first time I met you, I could just tell you just radiate positive all the time.
Thank you.
So when you develop this, how long do you think it's going to take to get out there? I know you've got a YouTube page. Is it going to be like a year or so?
I gave myself, so I started this concept about 3 months ago, and it took me a solid month to learn the DAW, the digital audio workstation. It's not uber complicated, but I'm not a tech savvy individual.
I'm not either. Like what you just said, I'm like, okay.
So I updated my computer equipment. I got the right speakers, the right mic, the right headphones. I've created a sound room in my house, and little by little, I'm learning more and more about the workstation. And
that's super cool.
It is like magic. I feel like I have been. It's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Don't want to say it's not been a
I've
challenge.
been to your house. I mean, so literally when you're doing this, I mean, it's got to give like the whole house really good vibrations, right?
Yeah.
I was talking to you too. So we covered people that aren't healthy, psychiatric problems. You know, you were talking about the whole bipolar, schizophrenic, people that are, you know, potentially going through divorce, or, you know, just a lot of things. And I think this is a really good show, because a lot of people right now are kind of like that, right? I mean, you walk out the door, and you might intentionally have this really great mindset, and then you walk out the door and it's like, gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I have recently, because I deal with a lot of people, I have been doing the not my monkey, not my circus type thing. That does not mean that you can't care about people. People have a misconception, right, of they really are like, well, but if I don't help them, if I don't get involved, then they're going to think that I don't care, or I don't
I used to carry
them,
that a lot.
right? So I really want the listeners today to understand that healthy boundaries are so needed today, and that's okay. It has nothing to do with I don't love you.
Right. Well, I had a huge epiphany, and this was right before I started speaking the light language, is that I felt such a burden is a heavy word, but I'm going to use it, that I wasn't doing enough in the world, that I felt like I was supposed to really be doing more to help people. And so I had this download, I had a dream, I had a premonition, whatever you want to call it. And what came through was a vision of these children on a stage getting ready to have a play. And they were all having such a good time, and the energy was wonderful, and you were excited to be observer of what's about to happen. And I was in the observer state. And then all of a sudden, the lights went down on the stage, and the kids got really serious, and all the fun and love and joy got sucked out of it. And I was trying to figure out what this vision meant. I understood the feelings of it. So after really sitting in it and meditating on it, what it came through to me was that it's not my job to save the world.
No.
And when I took that off of myself, that allowed me to see the perspective of what is compassion. So compassion is, if you break down in etymology, co-passion. So it's to be compassionate in company, right? So you can do that, but you don't have to be involved. You can do it in a heart space. You can do it in a head space. And another thing that gave me a lot of solace is I believe we chose to come here on this planet to have this experience, depth and breadth of experience. And the phrasing that I always use is, you can read how to learn how to ride a bike 150 times. Right? So let's say you're in spirit and you can have all of these potential informations and lessons in front of you, but we choose to come down here and have it a more physically ingrained experience. So coming here is learning how to ride the bike physically.
Yeah.
So if you look at things in that perspective and you see that you chose to come down here and have your experience, and who am I to encroach upon it? If there's an opportunity for us to exchange, great.
Oh, are you kidding me? There's like so much opportunity. I'm so interested with everything. From day one, she talks about things that I'm like, it lights up my brain. It's like I have to listen. Just like we had a conversation about stem cells, okay? And I'm an anatomy nerd, so she's like, there's this place in Mexico, and they do this and they do that, and I'm like, oh, I gotta check this out, because you really do. You talk about things that really matter, and I find that conversations and the energy of conversations has really shifted. I know I've got this thing on my lap right now, but we are so ingrained with being so impersonable anymore, right? And we just talk about like, oh, hey, how was your day? Well, why not ask, hey, was your day great today? Tell me why. What exactly happened that, caught you off guard, that set you on fire or something like that. But I really feel like the energy, as you're putting it, people don't realize your aura field is so big, right? So you literally can walk in a room and shift an entire room.
Absolutely.
So energy in and of itself, if you had a little girl or a little boy here that was innocent and, hey, not struggling, because kids are really amazing. They're very resilient. What are some of the things physically, too, people that are parents or that can interact at that level as an adult and take them, regress back to that state? What are some of the really positive examples of doing that?
I think understanding why things are the way they are is paramount. And what I learned is that we are living in a very fear-driven state. And it's not by accident, right? Because when we are in fear, we are constricted, right? We're not in an expansive mode. We're in protection mode, which again feeds back to our physical ego, which is about keeping us alive. So we're staying in that survive,
fight or flight.
Right? We're not staying in a thrive state. So the conversations, I believe, have become limited because we're so subconsciously concerned and programmed to be in fear and restricted and constricted.
Makes people angry, right?
Right. And if somebody comes and they kind of test your belief system, that contracts you more and it makes you put up your defenses. So I think we're all kind of walking around in these defense bubbles. And so we're afraid to interact. And so to your point of talking about children, and this is a fascinating observation, is that when you see a child, people's faces light up. And they light up because they recognize the expansiveness. That child has not been conditioned. That child has not been programmed. They are pure. And they are a picture of the divine. We all are divine, but they've been unfettered. They've been.
You hit it perfectly.
They haven't been polluted yet.
That's exactly why I wanted to bring that up, because we literally don't have as much fun right? I mean, the point of my show, living, breathing, and having a good time, because I like to live, I like to breathe, that's kind of important, and I love to have a good time. I love to have fun. Fun is like just either like, oh, hey, let's go meet up with friends or whatever. What about going to a park?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
What
yeah.
about going to the beach? What about interacting with nature?
Nature bathing.
Right?
Yeah.
Or the sun, or just, fun to me is just doing the things that make you feel alive. So physically too, I touched on this. Physically, besides exercise, what's some of the things physically people can do too, just to get their mindset better and get them working towards that goal of, I am going to have a great life. I am going to have fun with my life.
One of the easiest things you can do is go for a walk in nature. And if you don't have a lot of nature, it's okay. Still go out for a walk. You'll see some nature. What happens is when you're walking, not only are you taking air into your body and the energy is being allowed to expand, but your brain and your eyes are doing different things. So when your eyes are looking into the horizon and they're focusing on one thing, that brings you into a more not hyper state, but it brings you into a state of less relaxation. But when you're walking, you're not focusing on one thing. So your eyes relax and your brain relaxes, and that allows for your body and your cells and your energy to get more in a homeostatic state. And also, if you can go outside and be barefoot, I know grounding has been talked about a lot, but it's true because we are all these ions. They've proven that when you live closer to water, you're healthier because there is a balancing effect.
Our bodies,
yes,
right?
Yeah. So we eliminate, our ions get balanced through the atmosphere that we're in. So if you don't have a beach and you can't go for a beach walk, get a grounding pad. I have one on my bed. I have one underneath my workstation. I stand there barefoot and I
love barefoot.
Yeah.
I love it.
And there's a lot of science about proving now that we do need to discharge that buildup of ions because they clump together, and it like anything, like attracts like. So the more negative that's clumped together, the more it's going to get clumped together, and it gums up your meridians and it gums up your energetic system, and it's all connected. If you could just think about everything in your life as being energy and get down to the most granular notion of, is this expanding or is this contracting me?
I love it.
And if you can really just think about that in everything in your life, you'll eventually find yourself in a much more balanced state.
You are so wonderful. I am so happy that I had you on my show today because it was kind of last minute. Like I literally had someone call me. I am so sorry. Can I do your show in April? It's just my life is really chaotic. I'm like, yes, I don't want chaos. Not today. So it was kind of last minute that I called you up, but I thought about you, and I felt bad because I've been like texting her, and I'm so busy, and I'm like, I haven't seen you.
It's been months.
It's been a minute. So I knew if I got a hold of you, you'd have a lot of really good messages for people. And so I really appreciate it. And I want you to promote everything that you're doing. So if they're going to be wanting to, see what's going on with you, how can people find you?
Well, right now, my main point of contact is YouTube. It's SoothTube 432H, as in Harry, Z as in zebra. So 432 hertz. SoothTube, just like it sounds. SOOTHETUBE 432HZ. My contact information is on there. I also have a SoundCloud account by the same. Eventually, I will have my website up. I have it being worked on at the moment. My goal is by the end of the 12 months of this inception of this idea is to have an app so people can have a tiered program where there'll be generic soundscapes that they can have access to for a nominal amount. And then there'll be a middle of the road, and then there'll be a top tier. And the top tier will allow for people to have personalized meditations and affirmations with these frequencies
I'm
put in.
definitely going to refer out to you. You know,
I've had really great feedback. I've had, and I think in the next 12 months or so, I will be tapping. So if you want to reach out to me on YouTube, I really recommend it, because I would love to be able to use case studies.
Well, you know what I think would be a lovely case study is when I open my medical franchise, and then I have you come in and teach. And then I also refer all my practitioners out to you, because they're literally going to be making and improving people's lives.
Heal the healers.
So that may be a really good case study.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you very much, all right? And
I appreciate you, Sierra.
hope you have a lovely day.
Thank you.